All right, I think this is rolling. Hey guys, wanted to give you an update, just kind of look at the market, a little snapshot here, see where things stand. It's about, I guess we're about 12 days in to this process. And just to point out something here, we've got your listing showing up here, and I do have the, oops, sorry about that. I do have the video link. It shows up at the bottom on the MLS. So when you click that, it takes us to the YouTube video, the long form video, which is about 6 minutes. And of course, that's where we want them to land. But we also need a couple other versions, and I have those going as well. I've got a 45-second version that looks like this. Let's see here.
Welcome to 10024 Sedgefield Circle in Stanfield, a timeless brick ranch with over 3,300 square feet, including a rare full walkout basement. The main level features brand new flooring, open living room, and a granite kitchen with updated cabinets and stand.
So that's the gist of it. It's just quick, and it's for the purpose of a lead-in to get people to click to go see the full video, and also to hopefully give me their contact information. I also have a 15-second video that's in the vertical format that also I'm using on YouTube. And this one has to be vertical because it shows up in the shorts version, YouTube Shorts. So I'm running an advertising campaign with those videos to try to get traffic to the website and the YouTube video. It's just showing up choppy here because I've got so many things running on this computer, but it shows up smooth in real life. And it's just little snaps.
Full video tour now at 10024 SedgefieldCircle.com.
Little snapshots, video clips with titles, with captions, things like that. So the other thing I wanted to share with you, let's pull the syndication. You'd mentioned, a question was, where do the listings show up? Where does this listing show up? And because I pay to belong to the MLS, I can also opt into a variety, and it's about 4 dozen, about 40 some additional websites. Of course, Zillow, Realtor, Homes.com, but also these that you see here on this page. And then also, every real estate agent who has a website can choose to set up a home search feature on their website if they want to. And if they do so, they can make it available to pull from the MLS too, and that they have to sign an agreement called Internet Data Exchange, or IDX. So however many of those there are, which I'm sure there's thousands, if they subscribe to IDX, then they have access to your house showing up on their website as well. They have to adhere to certain rules for that. My website has it. You can see on my website, impactcarolinas.com, property search, and that's what it looks like, some sort of an IDX search function. So it's more than just these 40 some. It's uncountable, right? It's impossible to even know, but it's a bunch. And we've got plenty of exposure online. We know that is covered. Here is something else. Let me see here. Oh, so I looked up Stanfield and Locust. This is a report I pulled from the Showings website, that appointment desk center that we use to schedule appointments when people want to see your house. They keep records. And what we have here is, I just said, let's see 350 to 450. How many showings were there in the last 30 days in both Stanfield and Locust, just to kind of give us a cross section. And I said, show it to me in increments of $10,000. So as you'll see, from where we are right now, the 420 to 430 range, there were 3 showings in the last, let me see, what do I have set up here? From August 10th to September 9th, in those 2 counties or towns, we've got in that 420 to 430 range, 3 showings in the last 30 days. When we bump down to 410 to 420, there were 8 showings in that price range. When we go down a little more from 400 to 410, another 8 showings. And when we go from 390 to 399, 999, there were the most. Let me see what that comes out to be, and it's hiding it from me. Oh yeah, 16. So I say in these 3 categories, that's obviously where our buyer is. I don't know if that buyer is roaming around out there now, but just keep that in mind. 420 to 430, 410 to 420, and 400 to 409 accounts over the last 30 days for 32 showings. 3 plus 8 plus 8 plus 16. So actually 35 showings. Let's look at a couple other stats here. We've got everything that has been going on. Let me see. Hopefully this won't. I'm afraid this is gonna. I knew it. Sorry, it timed out on me. Let me do another search real quick in real time here. So I'm gonna do single family. I'm gonna say let's see Stanfield only. I need glasses. And I don't have them handy. Okay, I'm just gonna have to grandpa it. Let's see. And let's say we go from, just to get a gauge of the market across section 350 to 450. And right there alone in Stanfield, actives, under contracts, expireds, and closed, we are at 31. Let me put okay, let's see. If we're at 31 total, out of those 31, 11 of them were new construction. And that's competition, right? If something's in the similar ballpark of price and size, that's tough competition. But typically new construction is charging more for less. You get less square footage, you get less acreage for the same money. So out of this list, again in Stanfield, let's kind of see what's been going on here. We can get rid of some things to give you a better look. Okay, so let's look at the under contracts in the last, I think it said 30 days that I had set up here. 180 days. Let's go down a little bit. Let's say 15. Because we've been on the market almost 2 weeks, so let's just see what the last couple of weeks or so has brought us. And that gives us 12 results. 12 things have happened in the last 15 days. Have come on the market between 450 and down to 370, including us. We have yours here at the 425. We've got this one on Parkview that came on for 430, but that's new construction. Nope, sorry, that's a different one. That one, it is newish. It's 2022. Let's just kind of look down through these actives real quick. We've got this one that is new construction for 450, and it's 2,800 square feet. You're at almost 3,400 square feet, but totally different, night and day house, right? Brick ranch versus two-story, not ranch, but yet new. And then we've got another one that's newer on an acre and a tenth. 445 is what they're asking. They've been on for 86 days. So that's included in what's been active these last several days. We've got this one on Parkview that we just looked at for 430. It's 2,500 square feet. We've got yours. We've got another newish one at 410, 2,000 square feet, and another one, and another one. We're still pretty unique in that we are older, and a lot of people like that. But we need to find that price that's getting people excited. What we have so far is an attempted offer, but it was kind of messed up for you because of the contingency requirement. But we just don't know how much they would have offered. Right? We just have no idea not to say that they necessarily would have offered our full price. All we know is they had interest. If it weren't for that contingency, we would have found that out because they would have made an offer. So that's what's kind of out there at the moment. Let's see here. This one's going to time out as well. Yep. So the other thing I want to look at is the days on market of this batch of houses. What do we have? And then I'm going to take a look at a little stat version of that. So out of the ones that have closed, out of that batch that we just kind of looked through, a lot of them newer houses though, but that's just what has happened in Stanfield in the 350 to 450 range. single family. I didn't narrow down any more beyond that. And so out of the ones that have closed here, the average days on the market is 41. We're sitting here at, I think, 14 or 12, 13 or 14. The average days for those that closed in the last bit, 41. Notice here, the average days on the market for the ones that are under contract but not yet closed, 70. 70 days on the market. So we're not in dire straits as far as the market statistics go. We're just kind of going along. The actives, out of the ones that are currently active, it's been an average of 72 days on the market. So that days on market is a lot longer than it was a couple of years ago. And I think we talked about that before. When you look at all of those categories, 64 days on the market. And again, we're at about 13, 14. Now, I know you have a timeline. I know that November is a target, and you want to really have something in hand by then, before then. So what are our options now? If we want to beat this curve of 64, 40 some, 70 days on market, the best way to do that is price adjustment. You noticed that out of this list, there are, what do we have here? We've got a 450, 445, we got a 430, a 425, and then we have a dip to 410, 380, that sort of thing. The one that went under contract at 450 was newish, but that one was actually brand new. When we expand a little bit, let's just see what Locust looks like, because that's proximity. We have 35. Again, what happened in the last 15 days in Locust? It's a single family between 350 and 450. What happened was these, and looks like a lot of actives. We've got 2, 4, 7 under contracts that included a 424 for 3,100 square feet. We'll look at that in a minute. A 439, a 427, a 394, a 388. Let's look at this one. We've got a 2022 house, 3,100 square feet. So it's newish, 2-car garage, and pretty close to your square footage. So that one went for, well, we don't know yet. We just know that when they were asking for 24.9, they got a contract. Until it closes, we won't know what that contract came in at. This one with the fake sky, 2023, 3,200 feet. They were at 439.9, and they got an offer. They accepted a contract. Again, we won't know for how much until it closes. This one, 427.5, 2,900 square feet, built in 2022. So they've got less square footage, but it's all above grade. Keep in mind, an appraiser is not going to give your basement square footage the same value as if it were above grade. It is a walkout. That helps, but because there are walls, 3 of them, that are mostly underground, basement square footage never gets as much credit, as much value from an appraiser as totally above ground square feet. It's just the way it is. They just don't give that value. So it kind of fits, right? It kind of goes in line a little bit when you think about it that way. But with this one, with the 2-car garage, we'd need to subtract probably 10,000 or more for that extra garage. So that brings us down to 417 if this is what it's sold for. But that's a big if. We don't know what it's sold for. We're just kind of guessing. It's an educated guessing system, right? They have less acreage, so we would add the value back in for that. I don't think an appraiser would probably use this house if they could help it, just because it's not the same style, and it's a 2-story, not a 1-story. Here we have a 1-story. It's only 1,500 feet though, and they got 394.9, 2018, and it's only on 0.15, just a tiny fraction. Here we go, a 388 on 0.17, 1,700 square feet. 388, so they're bigger in garage, smaller in square feet, smaller in acreage, smaller in price. Again, we don't know what they got. This one, I think we saw this one when we were looking at comps, and it's been under contract since the 5th. They just went under contract 4 days ago, Again, we don't know for how much, but they were asking $375. Let's look at their pricing journey. They started at 400. After 19 days, they dropped to 375, and then a couple more weeks after that, they got under contract somehow. Somebody came along. This one, 2025 new construction at 367. Not going to spend much time on that. I think we can do better than that. And then let's see. We have some closed ones. There are 4 of them. We've got this one that's new, closed at 445, essentially close. And we've got this one that's not new. We did see this one maybe as a under contract before. It actually closed. Where'd that go? It closed on August 29th. So I think we must have seen that after it closed. Yeah, 412. I do remember that price. 412, and they paid $5,000 in closing costs. So they really got 408, 407, and looks like it has 1 garage, so it's a match in that regard. 2655 square feet, a little smaller there. Then we've got another new one. Oh, so much new construction, right? Here's another one, 2009 year built. They got 365, asking 375. Notice something else here. Go back. That's the under contract again. Out of these closed, let's just highlight these and the under contracts. I'm going to look at the days on the market. Out of the closed ones, those in Locust, 31 days on the market. That sounds good. I'd like to lock in on that. And then the under contracts, the ones that are under contract, were at 84 days on market average. So the ones that closed already, a lot less. The ones that are still working, a good bit more. And then we've got 2 kinds of under contract. You'll notice one that says no show, one that says continue to show. The difference is when we first go under contract, the buyer has not yet done inspections. And those inspections might result in a negotiation for repairs. And until those repairs have been figured out and determined and agreed upon, the seller might want to keep letting the property be shown just to allow for backup offers. So that's kind of where they are with that. And so if it's under contract, continue to show, they're kind of probably early in the process of their under contract phase. If it's no show, they feel pretty confident it's going to close. They're beyond the appraisal point in time. They're beyond the inspection, repair negotiations. So those 2 together, 110 and 84 average days on market. So with all of that said, we need to think real hard about what you want to do at this point. We've had, let's see, not much activity. Right? We've had early interest. That was great. But since then, not a lot. And so to kind of push the market, to spur it on, we're in September 9th, October, November, got about 2 months. And so we really want to spend the next 3 to 4 weeks getting this thing under contract so that we have another 30 days to get it to closed so that you're timed up perfectly and you don't have 2 mortgage payments. So just wanted to call your attention to that. I think our next move, if we adjust price, is to come down to a price point that people are searching. 425 was one I wanted to try because it's a very natural, commonly used price break. And as we saw in this chart, these are the categories that have had showings. 3, not a lot. Not a lot in that 420 to 430 range. It just so happened that's the case, right? No rhyme or reason to it. That's just, this is a snapshot of the last 30 days of what actually got shown. What was shown? 3 were shown in that price point of $10,000. Over here, if we go down to the 410 to 420 range, and this momentum continues, and there still continue to be this number of showings comparatively, will there be? I don't know. We're just going off of, we're hoping for the future based on what we know about the past. So it's still better by 5 showings. And then when you add in the 400 to 420 range, that was a total of 16. If we were to price at 400 even, I think we might stand to get a lot of attention, really excited people, and that might just cause multiple offers where people are afraid to miss out on the opportunity because they just think, oh, that's so much for the money, let me get in there. If we can leverage multiple offers against each other, we might have a shot at getting them to offer over asking price. Even if we were priced at 400, we get multiples. We could say to them, look, we've got multiples on the table, bring us your highest and best, and they might just start fighting for it and bring us on up past 400. So that's one strategy. Price it so that it's too low for them to be able to say no to, and therefore to start fighting over it. Or price it a little bit less just to kind of still have some wiggle room. The first one seems to work pretty well, but I'll do obviously whatever you want me to do. I just want you to go in eyes wide open, full information, all the information. So that's where we are. If I see, good point that could be made that a lot more showings, 16 showings from 390 to 399, 999, but I still like that 400 even, right? Because if you have that, you're going to have people that are interested that are searching maybe from 375 up to 400, but also people starting at 400 and going up from there. So that would be, in that case, look at what showed up. Look at what was shown in all of that price point. We've got a 21 plus 10, 31 plus 16, so 47 plus the 2 eighths. So quite a bit. Right, we're just kind of right in this sweet spot here. So I think it might be time to really start thinking about a price adjustment. I think we gave it a good shot. We tried that 425 just to see if the market would respond, and I think it's talking to us. Let me know your thoughts. Happy to talk it over with you. Oh, by the way, Zillow, you'd ask about Zillow video. They don't do video, but they do 360 home tours, and I can come in with a 360 camera, set it on a tripod, and just take those pictures with that special camera, which is a 360-degree view, come back and put them in a Zillow app that will let the Zillow website itself have a proprietary 3D home tour. And then I can also put it other places too. It doesn't just have to be Zillow, but that's the only kind Zillow will allow that's more than just plain pictures. So the market seems to have been moving fast enough that a lot of times I don't have time to even get to those things because things go under contract pretty quickly. In my experience, the last one I did recently sold in 4 days. We were dialed in, just like you with condition. They did everything right. They had a pretty urgent timeline, so we didn't add too much wiggle room or test space in the price. We got right down to business on the price, and I think that's why they got sold so quickly. So it's a real thing. Price is always king. If we could pass the code and get the town of Stanfield to allow it, we could construct a billboard over your house with a big glowing sign or arrow pointing down to it, and no amount of marketing makes up for proper pricing, right? I do all the right marketing. I put it out there all the right places, but the price always wins because people can see it, right? People can see what you get for the money, and they won't even bother. You might think a lot of times people are tempted to say, well, they can just make an offer. Doesn't matter what I'm asking. They should just make an offer and see. Well, they don't have to, right? They don't have to bother with it. A lot of people don't like to negotiate. Even agents who brag about being good negotiators, turns out they're not very good at it, and they don't like to, which thrills me because it makes my job more successful for you. But especially consumers, whether they brag about being good at it or not, a lot of people just want to buy it off the shelf, and they won't even bother looking if they think they're going to have to haggle too much. So what it results in is just the no showings. We don't get showings until it's a point at which, a price at which they can't resist giving it a try. So hope things are going well for you. Let me know what I can do. Hopefully this helps, and I look forward to hearing from you and see what we can do to get this thing resolved. Okay? Take care.